Welcome back to the Barbecue Lab. I'm David Gafford, and behind me is the Grilla Mammoth. It's time to put it under the microscope here at the Barbecue Lab and find out if this is the smoker for you. We just finished assembling the Grilla Mammoth, and there's really not that much to it. It's just putting on a couple of feet, and that's about all there is. I love it when grill assembly is really easy because we put together 70 to 80 per year here at the Barbecue Lab, and so one that only takes 15 minutes already is at the top of my list. We're going to be cooking an overnight brisket tonight, but before we can do that, we have to get this pit seasoned and ready to cook. So before we even season it, let's go ahead and give you a tour. Here we start at the front of the Grilla Mammoth, and I want to show you inside first. So come over here and take a look at the opening of the door. This is what the latch looks like. It's a simple flick and swish, just like in Harry Potter. My daughter would be so proud of me right now. And that's it to open the door. On the inside, we have multiple racks going on. The very top rack is one for sausages. Then we have 5 different stainless steel racks for meats and proteins with a water pan down below. And then we'll show you what's underneath there here in just a second. But let's go through each of the racks real quick. This is the sausage hanging rack. There are some hooks that come with it. So if you look down here, there are 25 of these S hooks for hanging your proteins with, and you just hang them from the top here like such, and you can hang all the proteins that you want in here. Underneath that is a grill grate. This is one of the grates that you'll find 5 of inside of here. Stainless steel, not exactly the heaviest diameter rod, but it's relatively weighty. It's going to hold about whatever we want to. I'm anxious to put some brisket and pork butt on here, see how they do. At the bottom, you'll find the water pan. This is for water or for apple juice or for beer or for whatever liquid you want to put in here to give this a nice moist environment. Slotted around the sides so you're not blocking all the smoke coming up. It actually comes through these holes on the sides here, slides right in over your firebox. On top of the burn cup itself, we find this handy dandy little piece. And if you lift it up, you can see there is our burn pot, and there's where all the pellets are going to be burned. Pretty standard pellet burn pot, nothing that is blowing me away or really seeing something that I've never seen before. Nice traditional auger, hot rod at the bottom. But what is interesting is this piece right here. If you look, this piece is sloped. See how it's not uniform on the bottom? It's actually set to go with the slope in the grill. If we bring the camera down level, you can see this is sloped for grease to be able to move that way. And this is designed to work with it. Now, if you move it and you have this the wrong way, it's not going to go down right. You can see that. But if you actually line it up where it says top, front, in the front, it actually slots in and it won't go anywhere. So that's the way that that's designed to go. Now, I'm really intrigued because this is designed to put chips of wood, chunks of wood on top of this to smolder while you're cooking. Over here on the right-hand side, this is the grease drain. This is where all of our drippings are going to go down into the drip cup. So on the right-hand side, if you're looking at the grill from the front and you just pull this off, there is the cup where all of your drippings go. Nice little easy on, easy off to be able to handle your grease. This is where the smoke exits your Grilla Mammoth, and you can see in here that it is just a little rain cap on top to be able to keep the rain out from here, but this is where the smoke is going to exit. The pellet hopper on the Grilla Mammoth is gigantic. And when I say gigantic, this is the lid itself. It's very large, and you'll see there is a vertical chute for pellets. This is what helps keep the water and the moisture out. You pull this off of the top, and when you look down in here, you can see there is a massive cavity that allows you to be able to put pellets down here. We're back up front, and here is the controller. We have our power button. We'll go ahead and turn the unit on. Here is our lovely full color display. We want to go ahead and enter the Wi-Fi setup, so we're going to hold this button for 5 seconds, just like it says. We'll go ahead and get into our Grilla app, and we hit Add Product. Choose My Product. Choose Mammoth. Plug it in the smoker. Done. Touch the power button. Hold the scroll button for 5 seconds. Let's see if it can find it. Pair. It's going to go ahead and connect to our Wi-Fi network. And it says we are successful. Fill the hopper with pellets. That we can do. I went ahead and decided to fill it all the way up. So we have 40 pounds of pellets in the hopper. We should be ready to go for days. All right, our pellets are inserted. Confirm smoker is plugged in. It is. All right, we've set the smoker to 400 degrees, and now we want to listen for pellets dropping into the burn cup. We got to get this auger primed, so let's go ahead and do that. You can see the pellets at the end of the auger, which means that auger is primed and ready to go. Next step is put these other components back in. There's that. Now we can close this up and start the seasoning process. 400 degrees, that's it. Hit power to go. It's going to ignite, and we can hit complete setup. I can hear it falling into the burn pot, so we're gonna go ahead and let this go for 45 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer on my phone. 45 minutes, starting now. If you're getting value out of this video, hit that like button down below. It shows us how much you care. The grill has finished the seasoning cycle now, and I went ahead and set it down to 195 degrees to get ready for this brisket. If you come down here and look, I just took this brisket out of the package. There has been nothing done to this brisket other than I took it out of the package. But here's one of the things I love about this brisket. Look at this. If you find a brisket that will do this in the store, you've got a pretty good one on your hands there. So I'm not gonna do a whole lot to this. I'm gonna go ahead and trim it up minimally, and let's get this ready for the mammoth. The brisket dog waiting on his snack that's not gonna be ready for a little while. So I wanna know what the temperature is gonna be in the flat here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this, and I'm gonna stick this in the flat about halfway down, right around there. And then we're gonna go ahead and monitor our temperature with this and by the Grilla app. So let's take this and go put it on the smoker. First things first, we need to go ahead and take the extra shelves out because I could leave them in there, but it's just gonna end up with drippings all over all 5 shelves, and why do that when I can just take them out? All right, there we go. So we have this grill set to 195 degrees. I'm not gonna really worry about it until tomorrow morning whenever we wake up, probably sometime around 7:30, and we'll check on it then, see if it's ready to wrap and kick up the temperature. So I will see you in the morning. Welcome to the next day. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning and our brisket's been going all night. I wanna bring you in here and show you how we've been doing. Here's our digital display. You can see that we set it to run 195 degrees. We're currently running about 193, 192. And I went ahead and inserted one of the Grilla probes inside so I can also monitor how those worked. And it says that we're sitting right at about 154 degrees. One of the things I want to point out that we didn't talk about yesterday is that there's both a PID and a Pro mode on this. Now the PID is going to keep your temperatures really steady and stable, and the Pro mode is going to give you a lot more smoke by varying your temperatures a little bit and letting those pellets smoke some more. So let's open up here and see what things look like inside. So it's 10:30. I decided after we finished recording that last one, I wanted to give it a couple more hours in the smoke and turn the temperature up. So the Mammoth is running 250. Now it's got the color I'm looking for. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it in some peach paper and put it back on to finish off. So come over and take a look. This is really what I want my overnight brisket to look like before I put it in some peach paper. So this is the color I wanted, and in this case, I'm cooking the color over temperature. But if I bring the camera out here and show you, you can see that in our probe that we have here on the Mammoth, that we are running 170 degrees internal. Heading towards 205 though, to have some brisket for tonight. So let's get this in the paper. We have our lovely brisket packaged back up in our peach paper. Time to just stick our probe in and let this finish the cook so we can see how this Mammoth did. You can see that we are currently set to 275 degrees. We're running 280 degrees, and that the probe is saying 203 degrees. So if we go ahead and look at the app, here's what the app says. The app says 279 degrees is actual, 201 is what the probe says. If you go back to the screen up here, now the probe says 201 and 275, updated pretty quick between the two of these things, but they're both saying 201. Now, if you remember at the beginning of this, we also put in the RFX meat probe. And if you look, I have the RFX meat probe in here as well. It's saying that we are running 191 degrees. Why the difference in temperature, you might ask? One of the things is that the RFX meat probe has 4 different sensors in there, and it's giving us the report from the lowest temperature sensor of the 4. So that's giving us the real meat temperature at the center of the meat. The probe for the Mammoth, I'm only aware has 1 sensor instead of 4. So I'm inclined to trust the RFX meat more than I am the Grilla Mammoth probe, simply because there's a lot more technology in the ThermalWorks product. But there's one way to guaranteed test that, and that is to use our instant read thermometer. So let's grab our Thermopin 1, stick it in here and see what we're reading. So I'm getting about 192, 193 at the thermal center of the meat. And that just tells me that I did not aim this probe very well. When I stuck that probe in, I took my best guess at where the thermal center of the meat was. And the problem with that is I probably overshot and went too deep, or I didn't go deep enough with that penetration. I can't say that. When I stuck that probe in, I probably went too deep, or I didn't go deep enough when I put that thing in there. And that's one of the things that's a human error. So there's really nothing wrong with the Mammoth probe. There's something wrong with the user. So user error. And that's one of the reasons I like using probes that have, 3, 4, 5 sensors in them, because it will find the thermal center for me, and I don't have to second guess about it. When I stuck this in the meat, I could also tell it's not ready yet. I really want to hit that 202 to 205 range for a brisket for me. So there's always the final test of sticking this in the meat and seeing if it probes nice and smooth like that warm butter. This one's not there yet. So here we are, 2:30 the next day, and we're still not there. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it at 275. We should get there in the next hour or so. According to the RFX, we have hit our internal temperature of 205 degrees that we're shooting for. The probe here says that we are running at 209 degrees internal in that brisket. All right, there's our thermal center, about 205, 206, which is right where I wanna see it. But according to this, we are pretty much like butter, which is exactly where we wanna be. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this one off, and I think we are done. Nice and juicy, and it's pliable. See that? Nice and pliable. It's time to turn the grill off, so we have to hold this for 5 seconds to change the settings. Then we want to go ahead and turn this off. So we're going to hold our power button in. And it says C15, which means cool down for 15 minutes. It means it's going to go ahead and blow out all of the heat, and it's going to go ahead and finish off the pellets that are in the burn pot. But 15 minutes to cool down, and this thing will be off. We're just going to set this in the warming drawer for a couple of hours, set to 150 degrees, and let it come down, cool down in temperature before it's dinner. The Grilla Mammoth has been basically out of stock ever since they released this thing. So if you want to find out the current price and if you can get your hands on one, check out the link in the description below. We'll send you exactly where you need to go to find out the price and if it's in stock. After a couple hours of rest, let's go ahead and see how we did. Nice little smoke ring on the top. Left a lot of the fat on the bottom, but yeah, I mean, that's going to be good. So hot, so hot, so hot. All right, let's get a slice through the point and see how we did. For a brisket where we put in all of probably a half hour of real work cooking this thing, I'm not mad at that. All right, now it's time for the official Uno taste test. I got you, don't worry. Are you ready? Here you go, ready? Was that yummy? Look at that tail. Look at that tail wag. And now for the official Ethan taste test. It's another day, time for another cook on the Grilla Mammoth. Today, we are going to go ahead and do some bone-in chicken thighs. We're gonna go ahead and set this pretty high. So come on in here, let's turn the grill on and we'll prep the chicken. As you can see, I have cleaned the water pan, which was a lot of work. And Melissa, being very, very intelligent, said, you know what that looks like? It looks like that. You can keep it clean using a full foil pan. So that's what we're gonna do on this one. We're gonna swap out the grates because this one's dirty. We'll go ahead and wash it, stick one of the other ones in, and we're gonna get some chicken thighs on this grill. We're gonna go ahead and set our temperature today as high as it will go. So let's see what the high temperature is on this one. I'm thinking around 450. 450 is our high temperature. We're gonna lock that in. and we're gonna do some high heat chicken thighs today. All right, we have the chicken ready to go on the smoker, seasoned with our chicken rub that you can get for free on our website. But you might be seeing something that you haven't seen before down in these chicken thighs, but no, that's coming to the channel soon. If you're interested in a pellet grill and this grill is too mammoth for you, I want to send you over to watch the Silverback video that we've also done, a deep dive review on the other pellet grill from Grilla Grills. We got a high temperature alert, so we're running 177 and 178 in our chicken thighs according to the 2 pulses that we have in there. Let's go take a look and see how these chicken thighs are looking in the Mammoth. Super juicy on the chicken thighs. I know that we're gonna love this for dinner. And I have to say, even some crispy skin going on over here. You can hear that. So crispy skin chicken thighs in the Grilla Mammoth, check. So let's talk through some final thoughts about the Grilla Mammoth. The first thing right out of the box is that this thing is gigantic, but in a small form factor. You don't have to have a lot of room on your patio or deck to be able to cook a lot of food because this is a vertical smoker. I really like the capacity that you can find in the Grilla Mammoth. The pellet hopper is enormous. You can fit 40 pounds of pellets in the back of this thing, and I just love that I don't have to think about the pellets all the time because there's days worth of pellets back there. I also really like that the Mammoth is a double-walled smoker. It has an internal and an external wall, which makes this really efficient with pellets. Let's go take a look how many pellets are left after cooking a 17-hour brisket. So we're back here getting ready to check how many pellets are left, and we notice that there's some prayer going on here on the back of the smoker. Check this out. Super tiny baby praying mantis. That is super cool. You don't see one of those very often around here, but love that. Taking a ride on the Mammoth. All right, here we go, guy. Ready? He's just gonna stay up there. All right. Here's how many pellets we used on a 17-hour cook. And if you look down there, we used probably, I don't know, maybe 8 pounds of pellets, I'm guessing. But still, a boatload of pellets available from all the way down the bottom there with the pellet dump all the way up here. I'm gonna guess that we have probably about that much to go. So huge, huge pellet hopper. One of the things that we really didn't cover at the beginning was the mobility factor, or how the wheels operate on this. If you look, you can see that there are locking wheels, which I really enjoy. But one of the challenges is that these wheels are not made for off-roading. When you see this cabinet, it's very top heavy. If you go to move this thing, your natural inclination is to push here. And if you push here, this thing wants to tip. And as soon as you start taking this through the grass, this thing does not want to stay vertical. So I wish that there were a handle here that I could pull this smoker with, or a handle in the back. There's no handles on this smoker. So getting it through the yard into the back patio is a challenge if you do that very often. One of my favorite things to do in a vertical smoker is hang ribs. Now, these are the S-hooks that come with the Grilla Mammoth. And you can see with these S-hooks, there is no pointy end, and they are also not very tall. So the challenge that you're going to have in cooking ribs is that A, you usually want a pointy end to be able to go underneath that second bone down. And the other thing is that there's not enough room here to actually get down to the second hook. And then there's no point to be able to get it into the meat. So these are made for other purposes, not for hanging ribs. But I know that you can get those for really cheap. We'll put a link down below where you can get some really good rib hanging hooks, since they don't come in the box with this one. But there's plenty of other hooks if you're looking to hang other things like sausages, brats, all that kind of stuff in this cooker. One more thing that I want to point out is I really wish that the app had notifications for probes. And if I didn't have that other thermometer in there, I never would have gotten a notification letting me know that I'd even reached 200 degrees. So that's one of the things I wish they had in here. I'm not sure why they don't, but that's something that was odd to me. Maybe I missed it and you can find it and you can show me how to do it. I'd love to learn. So show me down in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. Down in the description, I already know the comment that's going to be, is it worth it? Would you buy it? Is this a good deal? Here's my thoughts on this. If you have $999 and you want to be able to cook the capacity of meat that you would normally get in a larger offset in a really, really small form factor, I don't see how you can go wrong with the Grilla Mammoth. I'd want to make sure I protected my investment by getting a cover or keeping it underneath a roof to keep it away from the rain, since this is a metal product after all and it will rust. Let me know down in the comments what you would have tested and what you'd like to see us continue to test on this product as we keep it here at the lab and keep running it through its paces. I'm David from the Barbecue Lab. Behind the camera is my lovely wife, Melissa, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.